It's the 6th of July as we welcome a special guest to our desk. Deb Engle is here. And first of all, Deb, tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from Des Moines originally, from Beaverdale. So went to Hoover High School.
There you go.
Yeah, a Husky graduate.
All the way.
Yep. Now live north of Winterset, so in rural Madison County.
And you're an author.
Beautiful.
I'm an author. It really is. Yeah, we're right where those hills start to roll on Highway 169. It's beautiful out there. Yeah, yep.
But you are an author.
I'm an author.
How many books do you have?
Well, I've written 2 books that have been published by traditional publishers, and then I help authors publish their work as well. So I've worked with quite a number of local authors and then people across the U.S., and then have self-published some other books as well.
All right, and what are your books? What's the subject matter of your
Well,
books?
the first one was Grace from the Garden. That was published about 10 years ago. It was based on the fact that I had been working for Country Gardens magazine at Meredith for several years. And we found that there were all sorts of great garden stories out there, you know, people who were doing wonderful things in their communities to help people through gardening. And I just thought, you know, this needs to be a book, because we hear about all of the bad stuff that happens in the world.
Right.
We need to hear about some of the good stories.
And gardening, I believe, is the #1 pastime in America.
Well, I think
which a lot of
so.
people don't understand.
Exactly, yeah. So this is kind of the non-garden garden book. You know, it's not about how to garden or how to use the mulch or how to weed. It's actually really about stories of people from across the U.S. who have done some really wonderful things through education or working with elderly adults or whatever it might be in their community. So that was the first one, and it was just so much fun to do. Very well received too, which I was glad of.
Good.
And then the one that just came out last October is The Only Little Prayer You Need, which I'm just kind of blown away by.
Why is
and
that?
I say that
It's kind of a
humbly.
long title here. The
It is.
shortest route to a life of joy, abundance, and peace of mind.
Right,
so,
right. That's
a big
long
title
one.
there for
a little book.
For a little book, yeah.
Yep. But it's based on a really bad day that I had a couple of years ago. One of those days where there wasn't anything major wrong, but you know, when you have a day where you're just stressed and frustrated and you don't know how to get yourself out of it.
So like every day in broadcasting.
Basically, yeah, every day.
One of those situations where you think to yourself, what a day I'm having.
Exactly, yeah, and they're all the uncontrollables, you know, things just kind of show up and you don't know what to do with them.
Unmanageables, yep.
Exactly. So I was having one of those days, was just in one of those bad moods that I couldn't get myself out of. So I just kind of sat back and asked a higher power to give me something that would help. And this little prayer showed up in my mind. And, you know, at first it didn't, I wanted the heavens to open and for everything to be perfect right away. It really didn't happen. But before the end of the day, things started getting better and some kind of miraculous things started to happen. So I started to write about it that day. Wrote the book, wrote a proposal, sent it to my agent. She was excited about it. And that was kind of the indicator to me that there was something more there. I felt like it had a lot of power, you know, that it could really help people. But when she responded to it so well, I knew that there was something there. And then later on in the process, when she started sending it out to publishing companies, I needed to get endorsements and ended up with a foreword by the Dalai Lama. And you don't get
That's
much
pretty
better
good.
Whose birthday it is today,
I
by
don't
the
even
way.
know how you do
This is
that.
the-
That's impressive.
That's a story all by itself. But that was kind of the ultimate message to me that, yeah, there's something here. It's not just my imagination, that this could really be helpful to people, even the Dalai Lama.
So
see
it's a
something
prayer
in
you
this.
created or a prayer that you...
Well, a prayer that just kind of showed up in my mind. Yeah, yep. So people might hear the title and think it's a very religious book. It's actually, you know, for everybody, no matter what your religion, what your faith beliefs are, what your background is. It's really about the fact that we all face so much fear in our lives. You know, we are afraid of all of those unmanageables and uncontrollables that show up. And what do we do, you know, when they come up in our life? Plus, we're just afraid of, you know, are we going to be successful and will we disappoint people in our lives, or are we going to do a good job or have a good day? All of those things just go through our minds, I think, more than we even realize. So this prayer is just a very, very simple way, when fear starts coming up, to ask for it to be healed and to remember that, you know, we don't have to do it alone. We've got some help and some comfort.
So this all came about when you're having one of the worst days.
One of the worst days.
You can remember.
Yep, right.
And then you asked for help, and this prayer appeared.
Yep.
And then you said things start going in a more positive direction. Do you remember any one in particular that you might have said, hey, wait a minute, something's going on here?
Yeah, well, what I noticed, just even over the next couple of weeks is that every time I used the prayer, I just felt more peaceful. I felt calmer. And that's one of the things that it does, is it just, because so much of what we're afraid of is worrying about what could happen or feeling bad about what did happen. You know, we live in the past and the future a lot. But with the prayer, it just kind of helps us bring us back into the moment.
Is it like a meditation?
In a way, it could be sort of a meditation. Yeah.
My mom always called it stinking thinking, and sometimes you just have to stop yourself
Exactly.
from doing that and, you know, put your mind in a more positive way. So is it a matter of just reading the prayer? Or do you need to read the whole book, or what do you recommend?
Yeah, what
just,
page is it on? So we can just thumb right to it.
What
Okay?
are people needing to just maybe take their mind in a more positive direction?
Well, of course, I recommend they read the whole book.
Yes, we do recommend that.
Yeah, because there is so much more to it than it seems like at first. But the prayer is actually very simple. It's just, please heal my fear-based thoughts. And that's the essence of the prayer. So it's, you know, again, based on the idea that we have all of these thoughts, but they aren't necessarily anything based in fact. If we're worrying about what's going to happen in the future, probably what we're worried about will never happen.
Speculation.
But we spend a lot of time in that fear-based place. So the prayer is just addressing, wow, you know, I'm not here. I'm not peaceful. I'm not feeling content. I'm not enjoying my life. So please heal those fear-based thoughts that are getting in my way.
You know, I've long thought that worry is, and it's hard to avoid it, but it's the dumbest emotion.
Yeah.
It produces nothing. Nothing good comes out of it. You're not getting anything done by worrying about something. And if you can try and shove it out of your skull, it does help.
Exactly. And, you know, I think trying to shove it out of our skulls definitely helps, because, again, it's just the mindfulness, the awareness of, boy, I'm just spending a lot of time and energy on thoughts that are not helpful and are taking me away from all of the fun I could be having right
Well, heck,
now.
we need about a box of these to distribute around here. So there you go. There is the book, and you also have like a workshop coming up.
Yeah,
right?
I've got a couple of them. There's one July 18th that will be through the Tending Your Inner Garden program, which is a program of women's spirituality and personal growth that I do with Diane Glass here in Des Moines, in the Des Moines area. That one will be on creativity, so for women who are feeling maybe like they're kind of stuck in their lives, or they've got some form of creativity that they want to express. That's a great workshop. And then I've got another writing retreat coming up September 11th through 13th at the Lead Lodge in Nebraska City, south of Omaha, which if you haven't been to the Lead Lodge, it's spectacular. It's very much like one of the lodges from the Grand Lodges from the national parks. It's just beautiful.
Oh, wow.
So it's worth going to just to see the lodge. But we'll also be spending a whole weekend on writing, on building writing skills, on building writing practice. You know, for anybody who's just beginning as a writer or who has a particular project they want to work on, great opportunity.
All right, now if people want to get some more information on where you're going to be and what you're doing, how can they do that?
They can go to DeborahEngle.com. It's DebraEngle.com, and look under upcoming events, and there are links to all of the things coming up.
Wonderful. And of course, your book available pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, it's at Beaverdale Books, Barnes & Noble, of course on Amazon. There's also an audio version of it, so if people would like to get it that way, that's possible too.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Very nice to meet you. Thank
Very
you
nice
for
to
being
meet you
here.
too. Appreciate it.
8:32. We'll be back. This is Great Day Live on KCWI.